Welcome aboard, dear listeners, to a transformative voyage across the Sea of Nerves. Today we embark on an extraordinary journey, one that explores the depths of our emotions and sets sail towards the shores of acceptance. Picture yourself on a sturdy vessel, navigating the unpredictable waters of grief as we hoist our motivational sails high. Just like the vast ocean, grief can be deafening, with waves crashing against the shore of our hearts. It pulls us into its depths, engulfing us in a sea of emotions, tossing us between despair and hope. But fear not, my fellow sailors, for we possess the strength and resilience to conquer these turbulent waters. As we navigate this challenging sea, from episode 1 to denial in the self, to finally here, episode 11, where we'll uncover hidden treasures of insight and understanding, gradually steering towards the lighthouse of acceptance. Remember, my friends, acceptance doesn't mean forgetting or diminishing the memories of what once was. It means embracing the ebb and flow of life, finding solace amidst the ever-changing tides. So batten down those hatches there, secure your life vests, and prepare your hearts for a captivating expedition. Yes, you can imagine the visuals of what I just did there. Through anecdotes, wisdom, and practical strategies, we'll guide you through the Sea of Nerves, illuminating a path towards healing, growth, and a brighter horizon. Let that salty breeze slap you round, get in your spirit, as we embark on this remarkable odyssey from the stage of depression and grief to the serene shores of acceptance. Oh, we made it, baby! Are you ready, dear listeners, to set sail? Let's raise our anchor and embark on this voyage together. Welcome to Sea of Nerves. As this is our last podcast episode of this season, yes, you heard me right, this season, I hope that who this finds, it can inspire, uplift, and help to propel you forward on your journey towards acceptance. Welcome to our episode today. I'm your host, Darian. In our last episode segment, we're going to talk about our path to forgiveness and recognize the daunting challenges of moving from the depths of depression and grief to the shores of acceptance. We'll shed light on the emotional tempests you may encounter, acknowledging the mighty swells of depression that threaten to engulf us. We'll honor the challenges you face, validating your experiences and reminding you you're not alone on this voyage. But before we set sail and dive into our last stage of grief, let's take a moment to center ourselves with a quick breathing exercise. Please join me, shall you? Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Hold your breath for a moment and then slowly release it. Letting go of any tension or stress you may be holding on to. Take another few deep breaths in, feeling the oxygen flow into your breath. Into your body, and exhale slowly. Feel that sense of calm wash over you. Now that we're centered and focused, let's explore this expedition towards healing and acceptance. In last week's episode, we covered navigating the depths of depression and grief. We discussed the hidden connection between these two complex emotions and how grief can often lead to chronic depression if left unaddressed. I guess you can dress depression if you want, but get the pun? Get it? Get what I did there? Don't worry, guys. You're just listening to a dork ramble on into a microphone. Moving forward, we discussed also coping and practicing strategies to help promote as healthy habits to keep you moving throughout the rough waters of life. And with that said, drum roll please! Here we are, dear listeners, the last stage of grief. Acceptance! Please pat your back. Please do it now. Pat yourself on the back, 'cause you did it. You did it. You did it. I hope you feel as much pride for you as I do. You should be very proud. I'm proud of you. Please take a moment to celebrate you. Celebrate you. You deserve it. This was not a journey for the lighthearted. But rest assured, with each passing moment, we will edge closer to the serenity and solace that acceptance brings. Would you look at that? And what would you know? Acceptance brings a path of forgiveness, not only to ourselves, but to others. And when you release that, or when you start to release the grief, you don't have to be perfect and have it all released right now, but when you start, and which you have, if you've been listening, even to this episode, you're already starting. And starting that process to release the grief and the anger and the resentment, fear, you understand that it's ultimately what you wanted for yourself, from yourself. So, how do we get there? We must be willing to face up, to accept how powerful you are, we are, and healing the hurt going on inside of us all. It's our responsibility because we're in control of our feelings. And there's a few steps we can take to make sure that we continue controlling our feelings. So, what are they? Shall we dive in? Acknowledging the depth of grief is a good first step. This is your first step towards acceptance. And it lies in acknowledging the profound depth of grief. And we've walked through it, 11 episodes, here we are, right? And when we lose someone or something dear to us, the pain is pretty overwhelming. And it leaves us adrift in a sea of sorrow. And I sadly think some of us just don't come back, you know? As depression is a very frequent companion in this journey. It can manifest as persistent sadness when you withdraw from activities and or you feel a sense of hopelessness. So recognizing the weight of these emotions is very crucial in understanding that depression is a natural response to any kind of loss. And it's a testament to your human strength, to the significance of how important you are, and to the bond we all share. The second step is confronting the fear of letting go. Sorry, I just got a cough for a second. Thanks, guys. Confronting the fear of letting go. So one of the greatest challenges in moving forwards towards acceptance is confronting the fear of letting go. And also confronting the fear of letting go of our emotional pain. Depression often stems from the reluctance to release that pain associated with whatever we may have lost. And the time being too, we're going to go through more losses than one, right? The older you get, I feel like the more you understand that nothing really is ours. Nothing truly is truly ours. The universe has it. and we're going to lose something and everything at some point in our lives. And sometimes it helps to release that pain and that weight of grief that sometimes we carry or cling on to. Whether it be clinging on to memories and replaying them endlessly in our minds, and fearing that acceptance equates to forgetting or dishonoring what we once had, or a loved one that we once lost. However, if we accept this reality of loss, it doesn't diminish anything. It helps us transform in this process of loving ourselves. And that allows us to carry that memory even further with us, or even a structure or lesson that once served us, depending on the grief we're facing, right? Which leads me into the third step, navigating the waves of emotion. Grief is a journey marked by unpredictable waves of emotion. Moving from depression to acceptance requires us to navigate these atrocious waters. We may find ourselves caught in the undertow of anger and guilt and profound sadness. And it's vital to acknowledge and honor these emotions, especially without judgment. There's no reason to self-shame yourself for feeling any of these emotions when these emotions are built for the human experience. We're going to face them regardless. There's no running away from them. There's no running away from them. We need to honor them, understand that they're part of the healing process, and by allowing ourselves to do so, we can experience these feelings and create that space for acceptance to grow and take its root that it truly deserves. And speaking of roots need foundations, which leads me to step 4, I believe. I'm losing track of steps. Seek support and connection. The path to acceptance doesn't need to be traversed alone. You don't need to move on this journey alone. Seeking support and connection is an essential aspect of this journey, and it may not be an easy one to want to do, especially if you're like me, when you're like, I can do this alone. I was born that way and raised that way too, You just do things alone. You do things by yourself. And if you're like me, do things that way, I want to tell you through my own personal experience, I promise you it's going to be easier to drop that. You really need to accept that we have to do this with help of others. We can't do it on our own. It's impossible. And the more we try to do it on our own, the more we actually cause more conflicts for everyone involved. So it's really important to seek any kind of support, whether it's a therapist, support group, comforted, trusted friends, or a family member, anyone who can give you this solace and guidance and supports you as an individual and understands what you're going through. And ultimately, if you have that safe space to share those vulnerabilities and fears, you'll be able to lend strength and perspective to others. So it's, a good give and take of life. The yin and yang, the ebb and flow. That's exactly what it means. And I'm going to drop the step number. Next step, embracing meaning and renewal. And what I mean by that is when you gradually transition from that depression state and you're slowly feeling like you're moving into the acceptance, that's when we embark on a path of embracing meaning and renewal. not only the meaning of your sense of worth, the sense of your passion, your personal values, your beliefs, but you'll feel a renewal of who you are and where you came from and what you have to offer the world. And acknowledging the challenges we face throughout the journey allows us to emerge with this new profound strength. And we honor finding purpose in our lives, cherishing lessons we've learned from our experiences, and ultimately cultivating gratitude for the time we had with each experience. And that leads to celebrating our progress and small victories, acknowledging and celebrating each step forward in the journey towards acceptance holds significant importance. Grief is a complex and deeply personal experience for each one of us. The path to healing is, as I always say, nonlinear and very challenging. And by recognizing and celebrating progress, we validate our efforts and provide ourselves with a sense of accomplishment. Sorry, my ADD got super distracted. Someone drove by like super loud, as they normally do on their motorcycle. Yoy! My Estonian brain's like, not today. We can handle you talking or one emotion outside, or one sound outside, or emotion outside. Maybe it's an emotion outside. Who knows? But I tell you what, I got an emotion to tell you right here during this process. It's crucial to practice self-compassion and avoid self-judgment. Make sure you're not judging yourself so harshly and saying mean things to yourself. Remember that phrase, if you wouldn't treat a child the way you're treating yourself inside. Sorry, I keep hitting my stand. That's self-judgment. And grief can exacerbate those feelings and bring guilt, regret, self-blame to the surface. But it's essential to remind ourselves healing takes time, and we're doing the best we can in our unique circumstances. Treating ourselves with kindness and understanding allows for a more nurturing and supportive environment for growth. And there are numerous and small victories and milestones that can be celebrated along the way. And some examples include allowing yourself to have like a cup of coffee to yourself and taking in that aroma and experiencing that and what emotion it brings open to you and honestly to you. And being around loved ones and friends, engaging in your self-care activities, like taking walks in nature or practicing just that breath technique we did in the beginning of the podcast, trying to indulge in hobbies. I know they're hard when you're feeling depressed, but maybe if you do 5 minutes of, drawing a day or coloring in a coloring book a day, that it might help with some of those small victories, making you feel more delighted and celebrated in your life. And making progress in developing any coping strategy that finds healthy ways to manage these grief triggers and recognizing the moments of joy will ultimately help you find that meaning and purpose in life, despite the pain you may be suffering through. And just make sure to reflect on that personal growth and how far you've actually come and how hard you worked to get here, to get through this process. That's something to celebrate. Just reinforce that with your resilience and reaffirm that with your commitment to healing and moving forward. And if you're looking for further support, there are numerous resources available to help you through your healing process. Let's see. I'm trying to remember some books. There are books as The Year of Magical Thinking by Joanne Sorry guys, I'm trying to remember. Option B by Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. And I know there's griefshare.org, the Grief Recovery Method. I'll find some more helpful information and try to find some more support groups and post them on my Instagram and my social medias. Again, if you don't have Instagram or the social medias to follow me on, please just hit the email, direct message. I would love to. You should be able to email me from the website and just ask me for support. No problem. I'm here for you. Because remember, healing is possible. And with time, self-compassion, and support, I'm here to support you. Hi. You can move towards that acceptance and find a renewed sense of purpose and joy in your life. Moving from depression and grief to acceptance is a complex and atrocious process, but one that holds the promise of healing and renewal. By acknowledging the depth of grief, confronting the fear of letting go, navigating the waves of emotion, seeking support, embracing meaning, finding solace in that acceptance, it is through this journey that we can transform our pain into a celebration of life, ensuring that the legacy of our love within ourselves lives on within us as we step forward with hope and resilience. As we conclude the end of this podcast and this season, I want to remind you that just like the sea, life can be unpredictable and crazy at times. We all face storms and rough waters. But we can also find moments of peace and serenity amidst the chaos. Today, we have finished floating through the shadow that is the valley of grief. Okay, I was saying that so well until right now. The valley of grief. We conquered the dark and we're now approaching the light. I hope you feel as happy and grateful and carefree as I do. Okay, motorcycle person, they just drove by again. I'm getting too crazy here. They not know I'm trying to freaking record this 11th episode for you guys or what? That's right, 11 episodes worth of growing through each phase, each process. I have felt that sense of acceptance. And I'm so excited and hopeful you feel this emotion with me as well. And this is a gentle reminder that if you're struggling with your mental health, I want you to encourage you to reach out for help. Just like a sailor seeks the guidance of a lighthouse in the stormy sea, there's no shame in asking for support or help, and no journey that cannot be navigated without the help of others. I want to thank you for tuning in today and for taking the time to listen to this entirety of the podcast or even just a few episodes, for sharing with others, for liking, for being on my page, for supporting, loving me, everything you do. I thank you, thank you, thank you. You kept me moving forward. And I do hope that in return, you found some comfort and inspiration in our conversation. And you join us again for future episodes and season 2. Yeah, no, I'll TBA, to be announced. I'll keep you guys announced when season 2 comes out. But remember, no matter how rough the sea may get, there is always a lighthouse to guide you home. And a whole sea of nerves inside of you to help you get there. See that everything is okay, possibly excellent, as it is right now. And if you feel inclined, please share this post or this recording, this podcast, with friends, family, anyone who could benefit from these important conversations of dealing with grief. As together, let's make a difference. Thank you so much for listening. Know that love and goodness are flowing to you for your mental and physical health and well-being. We'll see you next time here at Sea of Nerves.